Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby was not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Ziggy zuggy, ziggy zuggy, oi oi oi, 3, 2, 1, chug.
I couldn't do it. Oh, that burns.
Oh man, it's been a long time. Been a very long time since we did that.
That burns. Webby, what are we doing?
This is Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby. We haven't done any kind of podcast in quite a while. We took like a month off, but we are back, baby.
I don't understand. If this is a post-podcast podcast and we didn't just do a podcast, then what are we doing?
I have no idea what we're doing, but this is Dinking Around. We do whatever we want, whenever we want, however we want, because it's raw, it's uncensored, it's craziness. We hardly ever know what we're doing on the show, but we're here and we're doing it.
That's right. We have no idea what we're going to do tonight. We have a couple topics that we're interested in talking about, but it's just us hanging out, and you guys out there get the privilege of just being part of it. I don't think it's a privilege. I think if you guys actually watch this, you're crazy. But
right,
it's cool. It's fun. It's good times. Good times.
But as always, anybody out there watching, if you want to join us, then this is the show for you, because this is where we will allow somebody to join us if they send us a message and say they want to join us. And as a matter of fact, we already got a message from somebody saying they want to join us, so we might not be alone for very long.
Got it. Just slide into those DMs with us and
yep.
See what we can do. Webby, I honestly feel like so many things have been going on in the last little bit that you and I haven't even had a chance to catch up on.
Right.
Like, for example, where were we just, what was it? 3 weeks ago, just 19 days ago, we were together. And that's crazy to think about, right?
Yeah, we were together for the first time in almost 6 months. We hadn't been together in person since the Florida Grand Slam tournament, which took place in Bonita Springs, Florida, at Peak Performance Pickleball Academy.
Mm-hmm.
That was an awesome experience. But then right as I got home, that's when COVID really just wreaked havoc on everything.
So
everything shut down.
Is that what I understand?
I think so. Yeah, it might be, because I was feeling a little under the weather as soon as I got home from there. So I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, so you and I were together in person a few weeks ago at Belknap Park in Grand Rapids, one of our absolute favorite places to be. And why were we there?
Well, they had the APP bus tour. It was a 3-city tour. You had Grand Rapids, you had Chicago, and then you had Atlanta, 3 weekends all in a row. It was kind of like the pro exhibition version of the Beer City Open. This is the kind of the way that I was looking at it, where there's 8 of the top pros. It was an absolute blast. Webby put together an amazing video documenting it that you guys should go check out on our YouTube channel. And that was fun, man. I had an absolute blast. It had been so long since I've been part of anything pickleball related outside of, doing videos with Simone and stuff like that. But to actually be like at an event with pros playing, it was a long time coming. That's for sure.
Yeah, I loved it. That was such a fun event. The APP put on a top-notch production there with the live stream and with No Smoke Productions, Lauren and Kyle. Even though we don't always get along with those guys, they did a great job. And in the tournament,
yeah.
like the pro invitational they had, it was awesome. So it's always awesome to watch the pros play in person. There's nothing like it. Like anything you see on YouTube or online, it does not even slightly compare to the feel and the atmosphere and the fast-paced action of pro pickleball when you're in person.
Yeah, I totally agree. I had watched every one of those pros play front and center before, except for one. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
I do.
And let me
Should
tell
I
you
say
something.
It, or are you going to say it?
No, go ahead. You say it.
I'm pretty sure you're referring to Callie Smith. Would that be a correct assumption?
That would be 100% a correct assumption. And oh my God, she is a freaking beast on the court, man. I don't know how else to describe her, but watching her play was unbelievable. And I'm so grateful that I had a chance to watch her play obviously, I don't want to take away from all the other amazing players that were out there, but I had never had a chance to watch her live, and it was incredible. What would you agree with that, Webby?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. She was killing it that day. And one thing I really liked about that pro exhibition that they did there for the APP bus tour is there was a purpose for them playing. It wasn't just a bunch of pros getting together and playing. Like that
Yeah.
alone would have been awesome. But the fact that they were all playing for prize money, and then on top of the regular prize money, they added $1,000 to whoever won that day. And for the way it worked is they would do kind of like all the pros would kind of rotate, play with everybody. There was the men's doubles, then the women's doubles, and then the mixed doubles. And for every time your team won a game, that was a point for you. So you wanted to win as much as you could throughout the day. And Callie Smith she killed it. She was crushing it that day. It was awesome to see her play. And yeah, it was very cool.
Yes. I hope she is willing to join us on the podcast one day in the near future, because I think it'd be awesome to get to know her a little bit. And I know she's been playing for a little bit, but I feel like she just blasted onto the scene in the last few months, which is awesome.
Yeah, just all of a sudden. And that's what I love about the sport, especially lately.
Yeah.
There's a lot of newcomers that are making a big name for themselves right away. Jessie Irvin is another one. When she first started playing, like right away, she was getting on that medal stand.
That's right. By the way, we have a comment already from Kenny Chou, and he says, Adam, are you going Justin Timberlake and pulling away from the group with the solo Webby shirt? ?
I don't know what he means by Adam, but
yeah, I don't know who this Adam person is, but
right. But yeah, I'm wearing my new custom Webby shirt, and the reason I had this made is because it never fails. Anytime I go somewhere where I'm recognized, people are always like, "Oh, are you Eddie or Webby?" So I always got to say, this is Webby, not Eddie.
I have family members who call me Webby sometimes, literally. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, like, I mean, obviously the people that say that don't watch our stuff, because literally every video that I do, I start and end by saying this is Webby, not Eddie. so I need to add underneath this, not Eddie. Webby, not Eddie.
Webby, not Eddie. I like that.
So we started off the show by chugging a beer. That was the first time we've done that in forever. But I have another beer I want to crack open that I'm super excited about. And this is one that our good buddy Matt Loria gave me when I went up to Grand Rapids, probably about a month and a half or so ago. It was my first time leaving my area to play pickleball with friends. It was awesome and very much needed. And he gave me some very nice beers before I left, which was very generous of him. And this one comes from Founders Brewing. It's one I've heard of, but I've never had before. I'm very excited about it. It's the Founders Mothership Series, and this is called French Toast Bastard.
That sounds delish.
Yeah, and the description of it is pretty entertaining. It says, you are holding in your hand an ultra-limited brew team favorite beer only found at our taproom locations, whether it is an old standby we brought out of retirement or an experimental new style. It's sure to go quickly, brewed for a chosen few, and you are lucky enough to be one of them. So thank you very much, Matt. I do feel very lucky to have this, and I am going to crack it open and taste it for the first time ever.
Always got
on the air.
Yeah, Matt's always got the beer hookup, man.
He does.
He's always got the good stuff.
And it's going to taste extra good because I have a Founders Brewing glass, because it always tastes better if you drink it in the glass made by the company that brewed the beer. It's just a known fact, scientific
100%.
fact.
Well, while you're pouring that, I'm going to pour my Fort Myers Brewing Company spiked hard seltzer, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 90 calories. And I have been drinking this stuff up. They sell it at Publix now, and I'm super excited about that, because as much as I love to go and hang out at Fort Myers Brewing Company, it's not close. And so the fact that I can pick these up at my local Publix, which is literally a mile away, it's very nice.
Nice. Wow, this smells amazing.
Does it smell like French toast?
It definitely smells like French toast. And this is not a small beer. This one is at a whopping 11.1%. So I'm going to be feeling very good by the end of this episode.
We should go through the episodes where Webby got the drunkest. I know there was one recently when we had Matt and Andrea on. That was fun.
That by far takes the cake. The previous one, I already know offhand which one it was. I think it was our first ever top 10 list that we did at the end of the year, and you and I each finished off a full bomber of CBS.
Yep.
Told myself I'd never do anything like that again on the air. and then Matt and Andrea are on, and we're celebrating the Beer City Open and mourning the fact that the Beer City Open didn't happen. So I drank my sorrows away, and I drank another full bomber of No Rules, which is even stronger than CBS. And that was a bad idea. I will never do that again.
If you guys want to see some hilarious footage of Webby under the influence, just go back and watch episode 40. Which one was that? 44?
No, it was a recent one. It was like
or I'm sorry, 74. That's what I meant. No, there was 69. It was episode number 69. Yep.
It was 69.
And I thought that was pretty funny. So we have a question here from another one from Kenny Chou, and he said, Eddie versus Webby round 47. Who's got the belt now? As you can see, I'm still the holder of the belt from the most recent Eddie versus Webby, what was the last one? 6? 7?
That was part 6. Part 6 is what happened when I was down in Florida when we were together.
That's right.
And, man, and I tell you what, you and I played a number of doubles matches against each other when we were in Grand Rapids, and I won almost all of them. My team beat you almost every game, so I think your days are numbered with that belt, my friend.
Well, they are numbered with this belt because the next time I win, I'm going to be taking the new belt from you. So I agree with you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's actually something we haven't even talked about yet. We have a brand new Eddie versus Webby belt that is going to be on the line the next time that we do an Eddie versus Webby championship match against each other. And I don't know, should we debut it now or should we hold off for another time?
Are you sure we haven't shown it on the live stream?
We have not shown it. We've showed it to people before we went live, but we've never shown it on the air live. It has not been seen by the public eyes yet.
This is a tough one, but I definitely think we should soon. Why don't we hold off just a little bit more? Let's see.
Okay, maybe how about episode 75 of the podcast? We're almost to 75. That'd be a good milestone episode thing to do. What do you think?
I think it sounds like a good idea.
All right, so stay tuned to episode 75 of our regular podcast, The Eddie and Webby Show. And for anybody watching the video version of the podcast, you will see the brand new Eddie versus Webby championship belt, and it is magnifique.
I agree. Hey, Webby, we actually have a pickleball question that came in that I think we should answer, and this is from CMD. And they say, can you explain in doubles where to stand to start each point? I am unsure if I should always return serve on the right side if I started 0-0 returning from the right side. So I think what they mean, what they're asking is, if it's 0-0, where should they return the ball after the serve? Is that what you're interpreting from that?
I think so.
Well, I think yeah, if you're the serving team, typically in doubles, I like to stand towards the center of the box when I'm the server. And then if you're not the server, if you're on the forehand side, you probably want to come over to the center a little bit to be able to cover forehand on a third shot drop. If you're on the backhand side, maybe give your serving partner a little bit more of that forehand and stand over to the right a little bit. But if you're on the receiving team, and I typically like to stand maybe 2 feet behind the line. That way, if it's a deep serve, I'm not moving backwards. I'm already back, and I can get my momentum going forward. If you're the non-receiver, I typically stand right at that kitchen line in ready position to be able to like scoot over and cover center after the return of serve, depending on where it's going. I hope that answered your question. If not, please throw another question in there. We're happy to help. Webby and I are definitely not pros, but I think at this point we have enough experience to be able to talk about pretty good strategy on the pickleball court. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Definitely not. I personally definitely am not the best player, but I mean, I know most of the rules and strategy, so I think we could give a lending hand. So if anybody else has any other questions, ask us, because I mean, who better to ask than Eddie and Webby if you have any questions about pickleball strategy, right?
That's right. There's another comment here from Tanner Wallace. And Tanner says, "See you at the Dink battle." What's that all about?
Ooh,
Is that for
that
you?
is
'Cause
right.
I'm not part of
That
a
is
Dink battle, so I'm assuming it's
that
you.
is for me. And I do remember seeing Tanner's name on the list of competitors. But yeah, I'm doing something that I've never done before. And actually, I think a lot of people have never done this before. It is a Dink battle
Hmm.
tournament. And basically what that is it's a dinking only tournament. So the kitchen line is the out of bounds line. So the
Cool.
kitchen line serves as the baseline, and you can only hit it into the kitchen, aka non-volley zone, no volley zone, whatever you want to call it. And if you hit it beyond that, that's out of bounds, and that should be very interesting. The last few weeks, ever since I signed up for this, I've been paying attention to how difficult it is to keep it in the kitchen at all times. It's not that easy. It's you got to have a nice delicate touch, because just the slightest just the slightest bit of hitting it too hard and it's out of bounds.
One of my favorite drills to do, and sometimes if I'm playing with a group of like beginners who they don't really understand dinking or why you do it or slowing down the ball or resetting, I always love to do this drill. And it's basically where you play kind of what you're talking about, where the baseline is the kitchen line. However, I only do it for the first five shots. So, you're serving it like you normally would, but you have to let it bounce 5 times and it has to stay in the kitchen. And then from there, it's fair game. And I find that strategy works really well to kind of help with maybe those that don't understand dinking or don't really like, that's not their style of play, really understand the strategy of it and why you want to play that slow game, that strategic game. And I love it. So I bet you I would love doing a dink battle that you're going to be doing on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. Should be a lot of fun. And I am teaming up with my good buddy George Cook. It's our first time ever teaming up together, and he is what I consider my pickleball mentor. When I first got into pickleball, he kind of took me under his wing. He is a USAPA ambassador, and he saw me and he thought that I had potential. So he took me under his wing and he coached me, gave me some good tips, and it'll be cool to finally play with him in a tournament.
Yep. He'll give you
Should
the
be
tip during the tournament.
That's right. But man, there's been so many things that have happened since our previous episode of the podcast. Speaking of the dinking drill you were talking about, that reminds me. A few days ago, I actually did a clinic with the one and only Riley Newman, and that was one of the things that he had us do is a dinking drill, and then we teamed up with somebody, and then we played a game to 7 points, and using the kitchen lines as the boundaries, and it was a fun time, and that was my first ever clinic experience, and I loved it. I would definitely do that again.
How many
And
people were part of it?
it was an 8-person group, so it was Riley and then 8 other people. So he would, at all times, there were 2 courts full, 4 people per court, and then he would tell us different drills to do, and then he would watch us, critique us, and he had numerous different drills. And then the second half of the clinic was a little mini round robin tournament, and the winner of the tournament was got the opportunity to play against Riley in a doubles match. So the team that won gold, the first place team, they got to play against Riley,
Yeah.
and then Riley's teammate was somebody that was part of the silver medal, aka second place team of the round robin tournament. And you guys will all have to stay tuned for a video that I will be putting together from my experience, and you can see if I earned the opportunity to play against Riley or not.
So talk about Riley's coaching style. Was he like real nice and supportive? Was he kind of like don't miss that, Webby. You do not miss that dink. You knock
Yeah,
it off.
he was super mean. He kept cursing at us. No, I'm totally kidding. Totally kidding. No, super nice. Super
Yeah.
nice. And I loved his style. Like, he was very clear about what he wanted us to work on. He would tell us like what he feels is the best way to do a certain move or whatever it was he was telling us about, and then he would tell us how to do the drill, and then he would have us pair up with somebody else, and then we would do a drill back and forth with each other, and then he took the time to watch each duo, and then he would like point something out that we were doing good, something out that we need to work on, something we could do better. And he kind of did that for all the different drills. And then even when we did the round robin, he was watching and he would focus on one person at a time and watch and see what you did right, see what you need to work on. And like getting that instant feedback, it was very valuable. And I learned a few things that I'm going to be implementing right away in my gameplay that I think is going to help big time.
What are some of the things that like give me one thing that he said you did good, and then like what's one thing that you really need to work on that he like gave you some good tips and drills about?
So we saw that my anticipation was pretty good. I had good fast hands and stuff like that. But my footwork definitely needs work. And one thing that we worked on that by the time I left, I was feeling a lot more confident with is kind of giving a little roll to the shot when I hit it, whether I was at the baseline trying to get a third shot drop, or even when I was up at the kitchen line trying to do a nice dink over, like doing a little more of a roll to my shot, kind of like crouching down, raising up, and then like kind of rolling as I hit the ball to make it have more of like an arch, but then kind of drop better.
Spin.
Because
Yeah.
because I add a little bit of spin to it because the way that I currently do it doesn't do that too much. And right away, I felt improvement with what I was doing. So it was awesome. I would definitely do it again. And I'm excited to work on the video to show everybody highlights of his session.
That's cool, man. I've been able to participate in a few different clinics, a couple of them at Peak Performance Pickleball Academy, where you had, Simone, Chad, Phil, Catherine, and man, I loved them. I got so much from those clinics. It's like a perfect balance of personal attention, but also putting you in situations where you have that layer of competition over you to kind of reinforce your ability to do what you're learning pretty much like on the spot.
Right. Yeah, it's so cool. So yeah, anybody, if you ever get the chance to do a clinic with a pro player, you should definitely give it a try at least once. I mean, it might not be for everybody. I thought it was great. I loved it. I thought it was definitely worth it, and I would do it again. Obviously, if you do like a one-on-one thing with a pro, with all the attention focused on you, obviously that's going to be. I feel like you might get more out of that, but of course that's going to be more expensive also. So I mean, you just gotta weigh how you want to do it. If you do it with a group, it's always a lot less expensive. You don't get as much one-on-one attention, but you still get a good amount of attention. So I mean, just whatever feels right to you. I've done both now. I've done the one-on-one training with DJ Howard, which I thought was super awesome, and then this clinic with Riley, which I also thought was very awesome. So I feel like you can't go wrong. If you want to get some good training, I feel like you can't go wrong with either option.
Yeah, I think both have value too, and I don't think it's like one or the other. I like to have that private one-on-one to really focus on, all right, here's the 3 things you need to really work on. And then the clinic, again, it's like you're putting yourself in game situations that you don't get with one-on-one lessons. And it's in some ways it's better. So yeah, I'm with you. It's definitely a different approach. And the other thing about a clinic too is that like if you're doing one-on-one, you're typically doing it you're doing it for an hour, maybe 2, but that's it. When you're doing a clinic, I know yours was just how many hours was your clinic?
It went for about 2.5 hours. I think it was scheduled to be 3 hours, but I think maybe our round robin thing ended a little sooner than expected or something, so it wasn't the full 3 hours, but it was like about it was over an hour of like drills and him teaching us stuff, and then about another hour or so of the round robin.
That's cool.
But I
Yeah,
loved
it's
I liked really liked the clinic atmosphere. I did like having other people there.
mhm,
And I liked having the little round robin thing at the end, and it was very cool the way that he did it, because you were playing for something. You were playing for the right to
right.
play against him, and you got Selkirk paddles. The first place team each got brand new Selkirk paddles also. So I mean, like it was a super fun time. I loved it.
That's cool. That's really cool. Real quick, so it looks like CMD got a little clarification on their question and asked if you return serve on the right side, then during the point you and your partner switch sides, do you go back to your original position on the right side to start the next point? Well, if you got the point, then no, you would switch, and if you were on the right side and you got the point and you were the serving team, then you would switch. But you're asking if you return serve on the right side during the point you and your partner switch sides, do you go back to your original position? Yes, you would go back. What you do on the court after the serve is basically irrelevant. You can stand anywhere you want on the court. You can stand off the court if you want. But the next serve, you need to be back in your receiving or serving position based on whether you're a 1 or a 2 and whether it was a side out or a point. Do you think I explained that properly, Webby?
Yeah, that was a very good explanation, especially if you're on the serving team. You got to make sure you're on the right side, because if you serve from the incorrect side, that will be a fault.
Well, same
And
thing if you receive from the incorrect side too.
yeah. So we actually do have somebody interested in joining us. I don't know if it worked, but I sent him the login credentials, and this could be a historic moment if it works. A fan of ours actually wants to join us. That's something that we always promote on this Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby show. If anybody ever wants to join us, just send us a message and let us know. All you got to do is have a good internet connection, a camera, and headphones if possible. I don't know if I told this person to wear headphones, so we'll see how that goes.
Well,
Does it seem like it's working, or
they have not come
no?
through? They have not come through
Okay,
yet. No.
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what else? What else has been new with you since the last time we did a podcast?
Well, to be honest with you, I haven't gotten to play as much as I would have liked to over the last month. You and I played against each other and with each other a little bit in Grand Rapids. Was that almost 3 weeks ago? And my game was not. It's not where it was last February, when I was
I could
able to
tell.
do pretty well
Yeah.
at the Florida Grand Slam. I think it also is a little bit different, and I didn't realize this, but the Dura plays so different in colder weather versus warmer weather. And this summer has been hot as hell down here in Florida. And that day in Michigan that we played, it was pretty cool. I think the highs were only in the 60s that day, and that ball plays totally different. So a lot of the unforced errors that I was making had to do with, getting my drop shots accurate, keeping the ball low. And I tell you what, a cold Dura comes off your paddle way harder than a warm Dura does. And I think that was part of it. But yeah, I just don't feel like I was where I was last February. I felt very confident about my game last February, and I don't feel that way now. And I think it has to do with not taking regular lessons and not having a core group to play with nearly as much anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, that definitely will make a difference. I've been very fortunate the last, I would say, 2 months. I've been playing, I would say, more than ever. Like I finally found a real good group that I can play with fairly regularly. Pretty much any day of the week that I'm free. I've got pretty good groups. Like there's groups in Royal Oak, there's groups in Ann Arbor, groups in Canton. I got pretty good groups all over the place, to where, like, if one group isn't available for me to join them, at least one of the other two groups should have some people available. So I've been getting some pretty good play. I recently did a couple of Wolverine tournaments. I did men's doubles 4.0, and I did mixed doubles 4.0. and I definitely feel like that was the best I've ever done in a tournament. I didn't medal, but I'm still very happy with how I did overall. I definitely could have done better. There were a lot of cringeworthy moments. Like when I rewatched the video footage, there were a lot of moments that made me cringe, and I caused our team to blow a couple matches that we should have won. But overall, though, like it was a very both days, the men's doubles and the mixed doubles were both very tough groups, and I felt that we easily could have won any of the games that we played. But
Let me
yeah,
ask you a question.
I've feeling pretty good.
If would you rather win a medal but go back and watch your matches and cringe all the time, or not medal but go back and watch your matches and like almost never cringe?
I would definitely prefer not meddling and not cringing.
Yeah.
Definitely, hands down.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like and it's funny because I'll go back and I'll watch our videos. Like I'll even watch the very first tournament we ever did, the Beer City Open from 2 summers ago, and I watch it and I am like, what in the hell were we doing? Why did we think we were ready for a freaking 3035 combined tournament? Like that was
Right.
horrible. But then
Yeah.
I didn't realize it. So it's like even now I'll go back and I'll rewatch some of these videos and just cringe, man. Just cringe.
Yeah. Our early tournaments are absolutely horrible, god awful.
We got another question here from CMD. They asked, what advice would you give to someone playing a tournament for the first time? My advice would just lean in and like roll with it, because if it's your first tournament, you're not going to know what to expect. You're probably not going to have a good idea of your rating to know if you're in the right bracket or not. Maybe you know some people, maybe you don't. I would just lean in and experience it and go in with the expectation of I'm going to leave here having a really good understanding of what pickleball is and what I should be working on and focusing on, as part of my game. I don't know, Webby, if you want to expand on that at all.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to go into it. I know myself personally, the first tournament I ever did, I was nervous as hell. Like I almost threw up because I was so nervous about it, because I never grew up doing competitive sports or anything. I was like I never did. I didn't do organized sports at all growing up. I was kind of like a very socially awkward and just I don't know. Just wasn't into that kind of thing. Like I feel like I probably could have been a decent athlete, but I just didn't have it in me to try doing that kind of thing. So pickleball is the first time I've ever really done a truly competitive thing. And that first tournament I did, I just had so much self-doubt. And I feel like if there's any way that you can just tell yourself that like it doesn't matter the outcome of the tournament, that you're just there to learn, and just anything you get out of it is going to be a positive thing. If you can go into it with that mindset, just like don't set super high expectations, set some realistic goals for it. I think that's the best way to get the most out of it. I know that the first tournament was super difficult beforehand. Once I got there, once I started playing, I was loving it, and I didn't have great results, but I had a much better understanding of where my skill set was, and it's definitely a great thing to do. So if you've never done a tournament, I highly recommend it. It's not for everybody. Not everybody likes the tournament atmosphere. It's a totally different experience than rec play. It's a totally different game. Like I feel like rec play pickleball and tournament pickleball are two totally different things. Some people love one and hate the other. Some people love both. The only way to know what you like is to do it. Just do it.
Just do it. That's a great question, though. I don't think a lot of people
Yeah.
take that into consideration. And I'm not going to name names, but there are some people in my community who I have been really trying to get to play in this tournament I have coming up that I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. And they don't want to do it. And they're kind of saying like, no, I'm not ready, or I'm not good enough or this or that. And I keep saying like, well, how are you ever going to be ready if you don't know what, what it's all about? Like, are you ever going to be ready? I'm never ready for a tournament. I never show up at a
Right.
tournament like, yes, I'm ready. If I do show up at a tournament and I feel that way, I'm probably not challenging myself then. I'm probably not playing up. I'm probably just like falling into my comfort zone. It's supposed to be a little bit of a challenge. It's supposed to be
Mhm.
tough. So,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I think you just go, just start it, just do it. Just do the freaking thing and show up.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, there's been a few tournaments where once it ended, I was like, my God, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing tournaments? I love rec play. It's super
Yeah.
fun. It's not stressful at all. I should just stick to rec play. I'm a rec play player. I'm not a tournament player. But then I kid you not, no matter how much I tell myself that, sometimes 2 or 3 days goes by and I see that a tournament is coming up. I'm like, oh man, I should do that tournament. Like it just, I don't know, something about it. Like it just, it's such a different feeling. You get such a like an adrenaline rush from doing a tournament. Like it's something that you can't recreate anywhere else for me anyway. And it's
Yep.
something I love, and I can't get enough of it.
I agree. Go do it, CMD. So Webby, I think we might have our guest ready. Can you confirm that?
Oh really? He did say that he can see and hear us, so I think that's a good sign.
Well, would you like to introduce who we have coming on here?
Yeah, and for this is a groundbreaking moment for us because this is a fan of ours. This isn't somebody that we reached out to see if they want to join us because they're somebody that's very well known in the pickleball world. I think he's well known in certain areas though of the pickleball world, but it's somebody that contacted us because he's a fan of our show. He wanted to join us because we always say at the beginning of Dinking Around, if you want to join us, let us know. He did that, and he's joining us. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Christopher Medina. How's it going? Can you see us and hear us? We can see you.
I
I don't
don't
think
think
we
we
can hear
have
him though.
audio though. Nope.
We can't hear you at the moment. So let's just do sign language for the rest of the show, and it'll be fine.
Yeah,
But
we're on.
yeah, so
Well,
currently can't hear you. We can see you though. So I don't know what we need to do to figure that part out. But that's the beauty of Dinking Around. This is live. We never know what's going to happen.
unscripted.
Um, that's right. That's right. That's the beauty. That's the charm of the show. We never know what's going to happen. It's really not very planned out, but that's what's fun about it. Um I do have some interesting facts about Chris though that I could bring up while he's trying to get his audio figured out here. For anybody that knows Ernie Medina Jr., are you familiar with that name?
I am familiar. I believe that I subscribe to his YouTube channel, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so this guy over here, Chris Medina, is his brother,
Really?
as a matter of fact.
Okay. Yes, Ernie Medina Jr. I am a subscriber. There's some pickleball content. There's also a lot of other like family related content. So go check it out for sure.
And if I'm not
And
mistaken, Chris here, he's actually in Japan right now,
no way.
which is something. Yeah, this is our first international guest, somebody from overseas.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're still not getting audio there. Um, but yes, that is true. This is our very first time having somebody outside of the United States, right? We haven't had anybody from Canada, have we?
Um, yeah, we've had a couple people, or we've had one person at least from Canada,
Well, from
Catherine
Canada, but
Perrant.
not
Not,
in
yeah,
Canada.
not physically in Canada. Yes, that is
Yeah.
correct.
Oh man, Chris, I'm bummed right now. We got this great video picture coming from you, but unfortunately, we just can't hear you, man.
Yeah, the video signal's great.
Yeah.
Excellent video signal. So good work on that part.
We'll just go back after the fact and we'll dub in everything that we think you're saying right now.
Right, right. Well, Is there a way for him to keep working on it, and then we'll just keep chatting, and then if we hear him, we'll bring him back in? Is that a possibility? I don't know how this
Yeah.
stuff works.
Why don't we go ahead and why don't we do this, Webby? I'm going to go ahead and set up a new number for him. So why don't you
Okay.
talk a little bit about something else that's going on? I'll shoot you the new number and you can send that over to him. How does that sound?
That sounds excellent. I like that idea. But yeah, like I was saying before, like there's been so many things that have gone on since our previous podcast. Um, Riley Newman was on the most recent podcast that we did, and as I mentioned before, I did a clinic with him. That was excellent. But another very awesome thing that just recently happened last week was my daughter Addie competed in a juniors tournament, and it was the very first juniors tournament that took place in Royal Oak. In fact, I think it might be the first one that took place in Southeast Michigan that I know of anyway. Like there might have been some before, but not that I'm aware of. In this one, there were 20 kids that competed, and it was kids ages 8 through 15 that were in it, and that was such an awesome thing, man. Such a cool thing to see all these
Yeah.
young people getting into pickleball. That's what we need. Like, and that's like from day one. That's been one of my goals was to get more youth involved in this because we need the younger people involved, and it was super cool, man.
So you said there were 20 kids that were participating in this tournament?
Yep, there were 20 kids, and it got broken up into two groups. There was the beginner group and the intermediate group, and there were 12 in the beginner group and 8 in the intermediate. And the kids that were part of that intermediate group, like I feel like you and I probably would have had a difficult time beating them. That's how good they were when I saw these rallies. And probably not very surprisingly, I had my video camera there. I was rolling the camera the whole time, and I will be doing a highlight video of this juniors tournament. So you can look forward
Yes.
to that. I have so many video projects to work on right now, but I love that fact.
What the heck, man? Let's do it up. Let's get them going.
Hell yeah. I mean, it's such a breath of fresh air because we had so many months after COVID kicked in that we weren't doing anything, had no
Right.
tournaments, had nothing going on, no video projects. So now I welcome them all, and I love it.
Well, I just sent you a new number for our guest here. While you're getting that stuff sent over and this gets set up here, not this weekend, but the weekend after that, I'm going to be part of my first skinny singles tournament. Now, I saw a skinny singles tournament going on at oh my God, I can't remember the name of it. It's the tournament from almost 2 years ago where Anthony and I played in. And it was the tournament that I first met Gizmo at over on the other side of the state in the plantation area, which is kind of between here and Fort Lauderdale. But anyway, I saw it happening there, but I never played in it. I love skinny singles. I love doing, using it as like a form of drilling, but I'm excited to be able to actually do it in a tournament setting. The question that I had, and I posted this out to the pickleball forum, is I wasn't sure what rating to go with for signing up for the skinny singles tournament. So technically my men's doubles is a 3-5, but I like to play 4-0. However, my singles is only 3-0 still just because I've only played in, I think, 2 singles tournaments ever. And I didn't know what to do. So, and here's the other thing, Webby, that I think is crazy. They combine 3-0s and 3-5s. And then they combine 4-0 plus. So I kind of thought to myself, like, well, if it's skinny singles and I'm up against a 4-5 or a 5-0, it's probably not going to be a very fun battle. But if I'm up against a 4-0, I think it would be a good challenge for me. So I don't know. It's kind of this weird thing. I ended up signing up for both singles and skinny singles, the 3-0, 3-5 combined. But I'm kind of rethinking that maybe I should do the 4-0, 4-5, plus for skinny singles and keep regular singles 3-0, 3-5. What do you think?
Interesting. So for skinny singles, is it best to go with your singles rating or is it best to go with more of your doubles rating? I feel like is the big question. And I feel like skinny singles more closely resembles doubles than it does regular singles.
I would agree.
So I kind of think for a skinny singles tournament, I kind of think whatever you're comfortable with for your doubles rating is the way to go. That's my opinion on it.
Well, my rating is 3.5. It's actually like a 3.6, so it's still pretty low. But I like to play 4-0 double, so I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to move that one up.
Okay.
And keep.
Yeah, I think because I feel like you and I both are pretty competitive at the 4-0 level. We don't have like a big winning record at that level, but I feel like we're both competitive at that level. So
I've got a couple 4-0 medals. I got a couple 4-0 medals, you know.
Oh, that's right. I guess you do. Whatever.
Just a couple. No big deal. No big deal.
Nice.
Well, hey,
were they big divisions, more than 3 or 4 teams?
One, yes. One of them, no. One of them I think we were 3 out of 4. So, yeah. But
which is still good though, because I've been 4th out of 4 before. I know how that feels. Yeah. And so still, I think 3rd place out of a 4-team bracket is still something to be proud of.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely feel good with it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But I think maybe our guest joined us. Should we try it out again?
All right. Yeah, let's give it another try.
Go through the whole intro one more time.
I'm confident it will work. But ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, we're going to have a fan of ours joining us. This is Dinking Around. We always tell people you can join us if you're a fan, if you reach out to us. This person reached out to us. So we're having him on. And let's welcome Christopher Medina. Are you there, Christopher?
Hello.
I think I can hear you. I can hear him.
We got audio.
All
Success.
Right. Great.
Nice. Well, thanks for being part of Eddie and Webby history here.
Oh, it's an honor. It's an honor being here with you guys. How are you guys doing? Good morning or good evening to you. It's morning over here, so.
Yeah, really? What time is it there right now?
Yeah, and where are you coming to us from?
It's 10:19 in the morning, and I'm calling from Kagoshima, Japan.
Wow, nice.
That's so cool.
So yeah.
We have officially gone international for the first time ever. We have somebody joining us from a foreign land. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being a fan or for tuning in and contacting us. This right here, this is what Dinking Around is all about. Like, this is what when we first started doing Dinking Around, like, the plan was to have us just kind of talk to each other, BS back and forth, and then if somebody was tuning in and wanted to join us, we'll bring them on to join in on the conversation. And finally, it only took, 26 episodes, and it finally happened?
Right. Yep.
I mean, we've had some awesome guests on the show, but usually it's somebody that we already knew that just happened to be listening, or we pinged them beforehand. And this is awesome. I love it. Thanks for joining us.
No, thank you for bringing me on. Yeah, it was kind of hard getting in, but I'm glad I'm here now.
This is great. So how long have you been in Japan?
I've been in Japan for a little over 30 years.
Oh, wow. Nice. What, if you don't mind me asking, what brought you, like, what made you go over to Japan?
Originally, actually, my brother, you mentioned him before, Ernie Medina. He came over in the mid-'80s as a student missionary through our university. And he recommended it to my cousin, and then my cousin recommended it to me. So when I got into college, I took a year off and came over to Japan as a student missionary also through my university. And I was only planning to be there for a year, but I met my wife and then eventually cannonballed into 30 years.
Wow. Nice. Yeah, my brother, he used to live in Japan. He was in the Air Force. He's currently retired from the Air Force, but he spent quite a bit of time over there in Japan. I never got the chance to go visit him.
Where in Japan? Which base?
He was oh man. Well, do you know where they're located? Because if I hear it, I'll know it. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now. I want to say
there's one in Yokohama. Nagasaki,
Yokohama, that's the one.
Okinawa.
Yokohama.
Okay.
No. Okinawa. Okinawa. That's what it was. Okinawa.
Okay.
Yeah. It rhymes with the other one. That was close the first time, but yeah, that's the one. Very nice.
Yeah, that's a big one. Okay.
So you were telling us a little bit about yourself when you were sending us some messages, and it sounds like you're involved in some pretty interesting things involving pickleball in Japan. There is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. I started a club down in my city in Kagoshima, and it's when I first started trying to spread pickleball down here, um, people had the same reaction. I'd say, hey, you want to try this new sport? It's called pickleball. And they'd say, huh? What? What is that? And so I'd have to go through the whole spiel of, well, it's a hybrid sport of badminton, tennis, and ping pong. And we use a tennis style net on a badminton court with sort of like a ping pong paddle. And they said, oh, okay. And I'm still active playing tennis, so I asked some of my tennis club members to come and try, and several of them did. But they had fun, but they still wanted to focus on tennis, so I didn't get a lot of tennis converts. But they introduced some friends, and so they joined the club. And and we started only last October, and so it's now what almost a year, and we have about 20 people in the main club. And just a couple months ago, I started a club at my university. I teach English at a small university here, a women's college, and I started a club here at my university, and so I've got a club going there. And then a couple years ago, I introduced pickleball to. I teach English conversation at a company. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Kyocera. They're kind of a famous electronics company here in Japan, maybe worldwide also. But I introduced it to them, and they loved it. And we were just starting to play more when the pandemic hit, and they shut everything down, all extracurriculars at the company, at the school, and so that has slowed the progress of the growth here. But we're getting back, and yeah, it's fun. Just this last week, I played twice on Tuesday, once on Wednesday, and then I played last night, Thursday night here with my regular
Nice.
club. So I'm kind of
Awesome.
tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. That's awesome, man. That's so cool that you're playing such a big role in bringing that to the part of Japan that you're in. That's very cool. So how like was it well received like when you first started showing people? Did they accept it right away, or were they kind of like I don't know about this? Like were they kind of hesitant, or how was that?
They accepted it right away. Even the tennis players that I introduced it to, they had a lot of fun playing with it. But then when they went back to tennis, they found that their strokes were a little bit off, and
Okay.
so they decided, I really want to improve in my tennis, so I'm going to, take a pause on the pickleball right now. So okay. But the
Gotcha.
funny thing is, the people they introduced were also tennis players, and they really liked it, and they're continuing with it. And so, yeah, hopefully they'll come back sometime. But right now, I'm still playing tennis twice a week with my club, and I every once in a while hit them up. Hey, you want to come back and play some pickleball with us? Go ahead and drop me a line, and I'll reserve you a spot. So, but the system for playing pickleball and getting courts here is very different. We don't have the dedicated courts that you do, and we cannot line courts on tennis courts here.
Oh, really?
There's a big, yeah, they won't allow us. They don't give us permission. Daniel Moore, he's up in Nagano, way up north, and I'm not sure if he's able to get permission to line tennis courts up there. But if you see some of his posts, he's playing a lot in gymnasiums. And if you see some of my pictures, that's exclusively where I play, on gym floors. So yeah, it's just different here.
Interesting.
We have to rent courts and all that stuff. So
Is tennis like the primary racket or paddle sport, like the most popular in your part of Japan? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. As far as racket sports, tennis is the biggest. Badminton, though, is also very, very popular. And there are a couple other minor sports. They have something called bound tennis. Um, I don't. I guess if you do a search on YouTube, I did a search on YouTube, and it's like a 30. What is it? Maybe like a 1 foot net on the ground, and then they they just wing the ball. And a lot of people are playing that here, and I've never seen it, I've never played it, but some people say it's pretty fun. But
I guess
but
with
a
a
lot of my
1 foot
members
net,
play it.
I'd probably have a lot better accuracy with my drop shots.
Definitely,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's funny.
So did you play, like, did you know what pickleball was before you went to Japan? I know that was a long time ago, and I know pickleball wasn't nearly as popular. So, okay, so you didn't know about pickleball at the time before you left. Okay,
No, no.
that's what I figured, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah, I only started playing pickleball. I mean, the first time I played pickleball was back in 2016, I think. My mom.
Okay, pretty recently.
My mom introduced it to, actually my mom got my brother into pickleball. She introduced my brother to pickleball, and then back in 2016 I played it one summer. I go back every summer. And that summer I went back, I played it for the first time, and the first time I played it, I was stroking the ball with like a tennis stroke, and I like to put a lot of topspin on the ball. And so when I brushed the ball would go junking right into the bottom of the net. And it's like, what? I'm hitting it as hard as I can, but it's not going anywhere. So I had to adjust my swing to actually get the ball over the net. But I was playing with a lot of old people, and they were just crushing me. It was embarrassing back then.
I know how that goes. When I first
playing
started,
with those people,
primarily old people that I played with, and they would just work me.
Yeah. So, I mean, after 2016 summer, I came back to Japan, and I didn't have a net, so I didn't play again for another year until I went back in 2017. And then when I came back after the summer, my mom sent me a net through Daniel Moore. So Daniel Moore, who was up north, he actually sent me down a net that my parents paid for. And I was playing tennis at the time with a colleague of mine. And so I asked him, hey, you want to try this new sport called pickleball? And he goes, yeah, sure. This guy is a guy from England. And so he goes, yeah, sure, I'll try it out. And so once switched to pickleball, we never went back to tennis. And so I played about a year with him until he developed a hip problem. So I had to stop playing again. So I found somebody else to play. And then back in 2018, I started, after, I didn't really catch the passion for pickleball yet, but when I went back in 2018, when I came back, one night, I was having some really bad jet lag, and it was like 3 a.m. And something hit me, and I said, okay, I'm gonna try starting a pickleball club. And so I went to Facebook, I opened up a page, I named the page, and then it sort of cannonballed from there. So yeah, it's been growing ever since. Hey, that's my brother.
Oh yeah, Ernie Medina Jr. is tuning in. He said, hey, that's my bro, Chris Medina. Awesome.
You also have another sibling.
Ernie.
Lesley Medina
Yes.
Taylor said, hey, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. It's a family affair.
Hey.
Love it.
That's right. And
Yeah, she
yeah, Ernie brought up, said, yay, mom, Loida Medina. See, it's a whole family affair going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom is like 81 now, and she's still really active, playing 3 or 4 times a week. Loves
Nice.
it.
That's one of those things I love about the sport. I mean, people 8 to 98 can easily play this game, and everybody can enjoy it. I love it. Like how many other sports, especially like such high impact sports, can you say about that? I don't think there's many.
None. I don't think any. Yeah.
Yeah. When I first started playing, I played with a 90-year-old, and I kid you not, he was really good. He barely moved, but his shot placement was spot on. Like he just knew exactly where to hit it to where he didn't have to move much. And it's like I hope I can learn that skill because I have not learned that skill yet. I'm always running all over the place. I still haven't learned how to do what some of these older players do, where they just kind of they stand in one spot, barely move, yet they somehow get every shot and hit it in the spot where it's hard to return.
Definitely. They're so good at placement. Yeah.
So another very interesting thing, I'm not even sure if you know this, Eddie, but Chris here, he also goes by Wings Media Guy on Twitch. And if any of our hardcore fans on I think it was episode 70, we had our very first ever Twitch comment from somebody that was like a legitimate fan. We've had a lot of like random Twitch comments come through, but our very first ever like legit Eddie and Webby fan on Twitch was Wings Media Guy. And that was this guy right here.
That's awesome. Yes,
Yeah.
I do remember it. Yeah, so is that where you found us? Was through Twitch, or was it through? Or is that just like the platform you prefer?
I figured I'd go on Twitch because I kept hearing you guys say there's one person on Twitch, and you kept saying Chris. I was like, wait, is that me? So I figured, okay, my name on Twitch isn't Chris, so so okay, and through Twitch. I mean, I've seen you guys on Facebook and YouTube, but I figured I'll go on Twitch, go through Twitch.
That's so funny. Yeah,
Unless
we
apparently
don't get a ton
we
of interaction from Twitch. Yeah,
right. Yeah, we appeal to people named Chris on Twitch.
that's right.
Twitch Chris. This is Twitch Chris 2.0.
Yes,
That's me. That's me. Yay.
the new and improved Twitch Chris.
Right. Yeah, the much better version of Twitch Chris. Love it.
Funny.
That's awesome.
Ernie also wanted to point out, and he says, "My mom and I can beat Chris and Lesley." Ha 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 ha. Is that true?
Yes, it is, unfortunately. But one caveat there is when they played us and beat us, I had just been playing for about a month, so I didn't know anything about it. So if we have a rematch, hopefully we'll do a little better. And my sister, who plays in Arizona, they just opened up a new facility there with like 16 courts, I hear. And she's going to be getting out more to play more, I think, if she's on. Yeah. So,
Okay.
and hopefully I'll get back.
So
Also,
how is the rating system in Japan compared to how it is over here in the U.S.?
we don't have a rating system yet. And we don't have. We've had a few tournaments before the pandemic, and the pandemic pretty much shut everything down. And we have some big clubs, big pickleball populations up in Tokyo, Yokohama, some of those northern places where the big metropolises are, and they got all shut down, and a lot of them were afraid to come back and play because of the pandemic. And down here where I am, we are actually, I think, one of the first places to start playing after the pandemic. And actually, where I am, we haven't had a lot of cases. At the highest point, we had like 23 cases in one day. But it's going down, and for the past few days we haven't had any new cases, so they downgraded us from stage 3 to stage 2, and everything is almost back to normal. But we actually held a tournament back in August, a mini tournament with my club, and I tried joining a couple of other clubs, and we had a really great time. We had about 14 people playing in the tournament, and we decided we got to do this again, and so we're planning another tournament in December. At the same time, the the Asian Pickleball Association, the APA, is holding their tournament in Taiwan, but people from Japan are still afraid to travel overseas,
Right.
especially towards that area. So they were really excited about our tournament. They said, "We want to come down. We want to come down and play with you in your tournament." But the people in my club said, people from Tokyo, maybe not. So for this tournament in December, we're saying it's pretty much just local people right now, and because there has been some a little bit of violence
Mm.
and bullying, and whenever people see license plate cars with license plate from outside the prefecture, outside the state, they key the car or they mark up the car and say "get out" and stuff like that. Even here in Japan, it's almost unheard of to see that kind of stuff, but it's happening here too. And there's an association called the Japan Pickleball Association, which is just starting to pick up. They're just starting to figure out things like about membership and how they'll have members come in, whether it'll be club members or they're meeting every once in a while to get those things all set. But hopefully that'll come through soon. But yeah, we don't have a rating system, and we don't have anything like that yet. But we just got into a partnership with the Asian Pickleball Association, so hopefully things are moving forward, so we'll be able to do stuff like that.
Outside of Daniel Moore, are there any other like really strong connections? I should say besides you and Daniel Moore to the United States pickleball that is currently in Japan?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Not that I know of. We do have a few sponsored players through Engage and Paddletech and I think Onyx. They have a few sponsored players here. They're not pros, but they have sponsorships. And my son, he used to be a sponsored player through Paddletech, but since he was up in Tokyo for a while, but when he came down back home, I think he kind of lapsed it, and so he's no longer a sponsored player with Paddletech, and but he's not playing a lot of pickleball either. So maybe maybe it's a good thing for now. But he's planning to go back to Tokyo, so maybe when he goes back, yeah, maybe he'll renew that or get started up at pickleball again.
That's cool. And we have Jonah. I'm assuming that's
Yeah.
a son you're referring. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, that's my son.
Oh, cool.
He played with Daniel Moore a few times, and yeah,
That's cool.
he's 23.
All right. That's really cool. So, because obviously that's fairly young for the sport, even over here in America. What is the typical age of most of the people who play pickleball in Japan that you're familiar with?
Definitely in the 60s, 70s range. But Daniel Moore, he just posted a picture not too long ago of a group that he's playing with, and a lot of young people. And so the age is getting younger. And even in my club, I've got 4 elementary school students playing,
Nice.
and I had to buy them some kids paddles, and I was looking all over the place for some of those kids paddles, but I couldn't find anything. But some people from Paddletech, they reached out and through my brother, and they said, hey, we got some. So I got some of the paddles from them, and they're having a ball playing. And I work with them whenever I can. Um, so it's a lot of fun, a lot of
Nice.
energy for those kids with those kids.
That's what I love. A lot of the big paddle companies, especially PaddleTech and other ones like Gamma and stuff like that. I know for like firsthand experience, they are great about donating to communities and startup groups that want to get pickleball started and stuff. And I love seeing that kind of thing because I mean that's the best thing you can do is like donate paddles to these groups to get them to learn and get introduced to pickleball. That stuff like that is huge.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. Actually, Paddletech was the first donor to my effort down here in Kagoshima. When I went to back home, I live in a town called, or my mom lives in a town called Berrien Springs. It's about, actually, I'm a Michigander also.
Oh, really?
Not born,
Nice.
but raised in Michigan since I was 5. Um, and so I live about 10 minutes from Niles, Michigan, where the headquarters of Paddletech is.
Yeah.
And just by chance, one day my brother was going to see them, and my sisters and I were out shopping, and said, "Hey, let's go see what my brother's doing at Paddletech." So we drove over there, and we met Curtis and some of the other staff members, and they said, "Hey, my brother is from Japan. He's trying to spread pickleball over there in Japan, where he is." And so they said, "Hey, how many paddles do you want?" And I said,
Wow.
"Wow, I'll take 4." And then Curtis came out and said, "I'll give him 8."
Wow.
Okay, yeah,
That's
I'll take
awesome.
8.
Yeah.
And
No fool.
they said, "Dad, you want a net?" And I go, "Oh, I would love a net, but I just don't have the room in my baggage for a net." So yeah, it was great. And then when I got back, I had a event where I was introducing pickleball to some people, and I needed more paddles than I had. And then Franklin, they heard about it, and they sent me 8 paddles also, and balls. So shout out to Franklin and Pickleball for their donations and a lot of their help. And Franklin also donated 2 nets to our effort down here, and so we use them every week. And yeah, very, very helpful.
Very nice.
Very, very great
Yeah.
pickleball community.
Yeah, another reason why pickleball is so great. I mean, just like the big companies like that, they are all about donating to the great cause and stuff like that. It's just, and then the
Yeah.
people involved in pickleball are just like second to none. I love it. I love the whole thing.
So
Yeah,
what,
they're
what
great.
do you think?
They're great.
What do you think it's going to help with pickleball in Japan? Like, what's the next step? What's the big push to increase its popularity and kind of keep spreading the great word about it?
I would probably say the availability of courts.
Yeah.
We don't have any outdoor courts, and like I said, we can't line courts here. And down where I am, Omnicourt tennis courts are a very popular surface. It's like a turf, an artificial turf, and they spread sand on it to aid in sliding, and the ball just does not bounce on that surface. They also like clay courts, and but the ball just does not bounce there as it should. So I mean, there's just a number of courts, and the system we have here for actually renting courts, they have gyms with badminton lines on it that we use, and the kind of bad thing about it is they don't let us tape on gym floors. So the kitchen line is 6 inches short, because they have that
Oh, wow.
front line in badminton, but it's only 6.5 feet from the net, and so they don't allow us to tape the extra 6 inches back for our kitchen line. So we're playing with a 6-inch short kitchen line, and so that's going to be a little bit tough to adjust to when we are able to get a real kitchen line down.
Right. Yeah,
but-
that'd be a big adjustment.
But yeah, availability of courts is probably the toughest thing here.
Why don't they want you to be taping off courts?
They're just afraid of the damage, I think, and they don't want anything to mark up their courts. When I first tried to play pickleball at a public gym, they hadn't heard about it before, and they outright rejected it. Said, "No, we don't know that sport, so you can't play." It took me a year to go back and explain to them and say, "Hey, it doesn't. Here's the ball, here's the net," and I had to put pads on the bottom of the stands for the net, so it wouldn't scratch up their floor. Yeah, it's also very traditional, and pickleball is a non-traditional sport to them.
Yeah.
So since they never heard of it, they were kind of hesitant to allow it in their gym. But now that I got my foot into the door, well, actually, I had to go to another city and get them to allow it. And then I went back to the other gym and they said, hey, I'm playing it in this gym in this other city. And so I think they went, oh, okay, if they're playing it in another gym over there, and that's also another big public facility, they said, okay, yeah, you can play here. So a lot of red tape, a lot of going back, a lot of persistence to get just people to accept the idea of another sport.
Wow. Well, I think I have the solution to help you get the stuff that you need in Japan. All you need to do is have the powers that be go on YouTube, look up the pickleball anthem on YouTube, and once they watch that rap song about pickleball, that's it. They'll do whatever you want with pickleball because if somebody went to all the trouble to make a rap song and a music video about pickleball, then they'll know it's legit.
Okay, I will do that. I'll show them that video. That was awesome, by the way.
Oh, thank you. It'll either work or it'll get you banned from Japan.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Probably the other. Yeah.
One of those two things will happen. Nothing else.
Well, I think since you're not flashing any weapons, since you're not weapons or any gangs, okay.
Well, I did have
Right.
these guns in the video though, so
Oh my god.
yeah, I went there.
We should come up with pickleball gang signs. I think that would be good. Like, like a lot of other sports, they have like different teams you can join and stuff like that, and the big rivals. We should have that in pickleball. I know we have like, some of the sponsors. You have like the Paddle Tech crew, you got the Onyx crew, but like there
Right.
should be like some rivalries going on and some gang signs. Like Cobra Kai,
Yeah.
should be their own little like dojo of pickleball players against what was Miyagi-Do, right? Like I think that would be so cool to have these different groups you can join.
Well, I think I got one sign right here. If you're a dinker, does that look like a D? Could that work? A D?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then if you're
yeah,
a
looks good.
banger, if you're a banger, I don't know. It's hard to make a B with fingers, but if you can figure out how to make a B to show you're a banger, so you got the dinkers and the bangers, there you go.
I like it.
Thinkers of the Bears, that's good.
That's so funny.
A
Nice.
couple episodes ago, you guys were talking about a new paddle company, or not a new paddle company, but a paddle company that did custom paddles. And I think in the messages, I was asking, hey, what company is that? And so I actually got the name of the company and I worked with them, and I got this paddle made. So thanks to you guys.
Oh, nice.
Oh, we got
And
to
this-
zoom
this-
in on that and check that out.
Yeah.
here. Oh, that's
Very
cool.
nice.
Check
This
that out.
It says Kagoshima Pickleball Skemonkyu. Skemonkyu of my club in Kagoshima. And Skemon means is the Kagoshima dialect for Japanese, and Q can also nine is pronounced Q in Japanese, but Q is also a homonym for the word ball. So Skemon Q means Japanese pickleball.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's
Love
what I
it.
named our club. And then
That's very cool.
this character right here, this is a Japanese pickle. So one of them. It's called Takuan.
That's awesome.
So yeah, thanks to you guys, I was able to get this paddle made, and it just came 2 days ago, and I just played with it last night for the first time, and it's awesome. The Rogue gel core, wow, really nice
Yep, the
paddle.
Rogue 2. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, recently we had the Paddle Geek on, and he did his top 10 list, and that was his #1 paddle. And
oh
if
really?
you, I don't
Wow.
know if it's kind of blocked by my mic stand. Let me lower it here, but you can see mine is up on the wall right now, right there.
Okay, yeah, I see it. Yep.
But yeah, that's from Players Pickleball. I love when a paddle company is willing to put like whatever you design on their paddle, I am a big fan of that kind of thing. I love customization, so that is a big plus. Yeah, Paddle Tech. Unfortunately, I don't know if they do that anymore though. I think they used to, but I don't think they do that anymore. But I love the Paddle Tech one that they made for us,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
that's like I love it. Anytime a paddle company can do something like that, so big props to Players Pickleball for doing that with their paddles these
Yep.
days. I've got
Yeah,
to
they're
admit
great.
though, like I played with the Rogue 2. A lot of people love that paddle. Unfortunately for me, it's not quite. I don't think I don't think it lines up with my playing style or something. So I don't
Ah,
do as good with that as the other paddles that I'm used to. Maybe I just need to play with it more. But at the moment, I still love the Tempest Wave Pro from Paddle Tech, and I'm currently really loving the Prince Response Pro. That's the one that I have been playing with the most lately. I'm really liking that one a lot.
is that Simone's paddle?
Yep, it is.
Ah, okay, okay.
Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw it today or not, but during the PPA tour, she had a paddle that I've never seen her play with before. It was still Prince, and it had her logo on it. So I don't know if that's a preview of her custom Prince paddle that we might be able to purchase here coming up. But if so, I'm pretty excited about that. I'm definitely going to be getting me one of those.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it was because I told Simone recently that I am absolutely loving her paddle, and I told her I wanted to get a second one, and she said you might want to hold off, and that might be why. I'm putting two and two together. I'm putting two and two together. That might be why, because yeah, she was holding a very sleek looking paddle during the PPA event today.
I didn't see that event. Was it the same shape as her original paddle, or is it a different shape?
Yeah, it looked pretty much exactly the same as far as the Prince is more of the kind of oval shape paddle. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it's the same paddle, just maybe slightly different and customized for her. So yeah,
Cool,
see.
cool.
Yeah,
I have a theory though.
I'm a
Webby.
huge fan.
I think that I mean, obviously both you and I are Paddle Tech and Prince fanboys. I guess you could call us that.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a theory that once you become good with the Tempest Wave Pro or probably the Prince Response, because they're such like perfectly balanced paddles with a huge sweet spot, nothing else is ever going to compare, and it kind of ruins you.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
it completely ruins your
It really does.
your ability to play with any other paddle.
Yeah, it's I played with the Tempest Wave Pro for a long time, and then I tried the Prince Response Pro, and something about it seemed like a little more forgiving. I think I'm still a bit on the sloppy side, so I feel like the Prince Response Pro was very forgiving, and it gave me a little bit more power, and for me, it's a very good fit. I still love the Tempest Wave Pro, but at the moment, the Prince Response Pro is where it's at for this guy right here. Not sponsored. They probably don't want anything to do with me because of my skill level, but but I still love that paddle.
Yeah, I love paddle tech too. I mean, the paddles that they donated, I use regularly also. But I'm kind of a paddle geek myself in that I like to buy. Unfortunately, paddle tech doesn't have a elongated paddle. Do they?
Right.
Do they not? Yeah. So I was wanting to get one of those longer paddles, and I saw somebody on Pickleball forum with a Wilson. I was like, oh, Wilson. So I had to go ahead and get the Wilson, and then I love this one, the Engage Poach,
The Poach,
Extreme.
yep.
This one, I love this. I've played this.
Yep.
I get a lot of spin off of this one. But then I really love playing with the head also. So I kind of rotate paddles whenever I play. So now I'll have to add the player pickleball one
Yeah, I was gonna say
into that
you are a
rotation.
paddle
yeah.
geek. Yeah.
Yeah, you really are. What about the Invicta, the Selkirk Invicta? Have you played with that one?
No, I haven't had a chance to play with that. It's something that I'd love to do. So if Selkirk wants to send me one, I'm here. No, but actually, Selkirk.
another solid
Shout
one.
out to Selkirk. They helped me with my university pickleball team, and they gave me a really good deal on paddles for my team, and so I've got like 20 paddles, 20 Selkirk paddles, and my team members in my university are playing with all Selkirk stuff. So yeah, shout out to Selkirk, and they're great paddles. They're really good paddles for the entry level paddle. They feel really good, very solid. So yeah, great stuff.
So Ernie said, "OMG, how many different paddles do you have, Chris?"
Don't ask. Don't ask. Those are just my elongated paddles. Don't ask about the standard paddles.
Well, I guess I was thinking about it too. You know, if you're trying to introduce pickleball to an area where it's probably a little bit harder to get equipment and it's not as very well known, being able to show up with not just paddles, but actually like professional level paddles is probably pretty important to the whole process.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not just for me. I let my members play and try them out and see how the feel is, and so yeah.
All right.
Trying the different cores, the different shapes, the different things. So give them a different feel. But they went with my club in Kagoshima. They went with the Engage introductory level paddle, and so everybody in my club has Engage paddles. So yeah. So my university club has Selkirk. My club here in Kagoshima City has Engage. But we played a lot with PaddleTech in the beginning, PaddleTech and Franklin. When I tried the Franklin, the aluminum paddle, their entry level or the beginning paddle, my goodness, that paddle has a lot of power. I don't know if you guys have ever played with a totally aluminum paddle.
No,
but
I never have. I've seen them. I've seen the paddles in the stores, but I've never played with it.
It clinks a little bit if you hit it off the sweet spot, but if you hit it on the sweet spot, my goodness, the power is like wow. A lot of fun.
Interesting. Nice.
So it looks like Chris. It looks like Mom is checking in, and she did say, "Yes, I have an elongated PaddleTech." Well, I think she said elongated, but then sorry, she said sorry, elongated paddle. And my buddy Matthew Gear said, under elongated paddle in Webster's dictionary are the words Selkirk Invicta, which Matthew is a Selkirk sales rep, so I'm not surprised that he said that. But
right, yeah. Well, Selkirk sent me
is that
one
the one
of the
Tyson plays with?
Yep, it is, and Selkirk sent us a couple of their paddles to review, and I reviewed the Invicta Vanguard, their new series, and it's a very solid paddle. I enjoyed that one. I still don't play with it regularly, but if I start doing singles more, I could definitely see myself using that because I do like a little bit of an elongated paddle for when I play singles for that little extra reach, and that's a very, very solid paddle for sure.
Is it thicker
than
the standard thickness?
So I don't have a lot of experience with Selkirk paddles, so I don't know how it compares to other Selkirk paddles in their line. So maybe it's thicker than other Selkirk paddles. That part I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
cool.
it's
okay.
it's. I mean, I love the fact that there's so many different paddles to choose from because like it really once you become on the higher level, I found like everybody has got their own tastes. I mean, you gotta like certain people like a little more of the delicate touch. Some people like more power. I mean, I feel like once you get up there in rank, you gotta try different things out because all the different paddles, like the different shapes and sizes and weights, like everything about it impacts things so differently. One thing I've never done, I've never added lead tape. Do either of you add lead tape to your paddles?
No,
I haven't yet. No.
Yeah, I haven't either. But I mean, I feel like all the pros do it, and maybe there's something to it. I don't know.
Who knows?
Definitely a heavier paddle gives you a lot more power, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I used to use the Bantam EXL Pro, and I think the one that I had was like 8.6 or 8.7 ounces, and I loved it at first, but my wrist started getting sore, and I think that might be more my fault. I think maybe I might be a little too loose-wristed when I play, and I was getting kind of my wrist was getting a little bit sore, and I started using the Tempest Wave Pro, which was a much lighter paddle, and that's when I learned, you know what, I think I like the lighter paddle more than the heavier paddle.
You didn't play tennis beforehand, did you?
No, not at all.
Neither
I
of you
played.
played?
Nope.
No, I played a little bit of badminton for fun only. Like I never played competitively. Like my
Oh, okay.
dad and I, we used to we would see how many volleys we could get. So we would kind of like volley like straight up like so we can make each other hit the ball or hit the shuttlecock back and forth. But I never really played competitively. But I feel like I've always had really good eye-hand coordination, so I caught on to pickleball pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, when we play tennis, the rackets are, of course, heavier and bigger. So I think I like playing with a heavier. If I could get a 10 ounce paddle, so I may start adding the lead tape just to make it heavier to get a little bit more. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm very tempted to try it. A lot of things I've read about it is that it gives more balance. Like I guess you gotta like if you add it to the right part of the paddle, it gives it more balance and power to where it can be beneficial. I haven't dabbled in that at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you do, let us know how it turns out. Make a
Yeah.
video of your experience.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can definitely count on that. If I ever do anything in the pickleball world that I think would be interesting to others, there will definitely be a video about it.
Which, by the way, if you guys have Apple Watches and you did the recent upgrade today, finally, pickleball is a selectable option. I can't bend my wrist that way. Can you see? No.
Yeah, nope.
Well, anyway, from an exercise perspective, you can actually select pickleball, and I actually played pickleball tonight
Nice.
before the show, and I was finally able to do it because I used to pick racquetball, and I was always so mad. Why the hell isn't there pickleball available
Right.
from an Apple Watch activity perspective? Now there is, and I'm very excited about that. So if you guys have Apple Watches
Nice.
and iPhones, go out there, do the recent upgrade that came out today, and you'll be able to select it.
Very nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Chris, for joining us. This has been very cool. A groundbreaking moment for us. Finally, one of our fans reached out to us, and we got you on the air. We've always promised. That's what we would do on this Dinking Around show. If anybody ever wants to join us, just send us a message. If you have a good internet connection, camera, and headphones, you can join us. And that's what Chris did here today. We had a very nice discussion. This was very interesting too. Like,
Yeah.
It's awesome to hear about what you got going over, what you have going on over there in Japan with pickleball. This is awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's starting to pick up over here, and like Daniel Moore, he's got a lot to do with it. He's traveling all around now, right now, teaching pickleball and doing clinics around northern Japan. We're trying to get him down here, but again, my club was like, he's from up north, not yet, not yet. So hopefully we'll get him down here sometime, maybe next year or so. Because I'm not a certified teacher or anything like that. I love pickleball so much, and I'm basically everybody down here is my student, and I'm not a teacher for pickleball. So I would love to get a certified teacher, a good player down here actually, to teach my people, and hopefully he'll come if he's watching. But
well, it's a guarantee now. I mean, you were on the Eddie and Webby show, the Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby, so the sky is the limit now.
All right. It's time to start taking off.
But I know it's way past Eddie's bedtime, so we should probably start wrapping up soon. But yeah, anything else you want to say before we part ways here?
Yeah, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that true? Do the police really go around Naples? I've always wondered that. Do they actually knock on doors and say, "Hey, go to bed at 9:30"?
No, I make that joke because my wife and I are significantly younger than the average age in Naples, and in our community, we're maybe one of 4 houses in here that are under the age of 50. And so we're on the younger side, but we're also very good friends with a lot of the people that we live with. So no, they technically don't come around and knock on doors, but I bet you we have had a couple late nights here. I bet you our neighbors were probably ready to start come knocking on our door at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you said that almost every episode at the end is like, do they really come around? I was like, I gotta ask them if that's true or not.
Well, come down for the U.S. Open, and you can experience it for yourself.
Yeah.
I would love to. When this pandemic thing is all through, hopefully I can get down there and see some, like you guys were talking about on some of your recent podcasts, how awesome it is to see live pickleball.
Mm-hmm.
And watching Ben Johns and Tyson McGuffin actually play in front of you, it's amazing. My son and I, for the first time, we went to see, I think in 2017, we went to see Roger Federer play at Indian Wells. It was so awesome, and I just total different level of experience watching live.
Seeing it on a live stream is awesome.
I'd really love to see pickleball.
Seeing it on a live stream is awesome, but seeing it in person, the first time I did, I was like, holy crap, this is insane what these guys can do with that ball.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy how different it is in person.
Yep.
Definitely.
Well, cool,
awesome.
Man.
Well, thanks again, Chris. This has been great. I love the fact that you were able to join us tonight. I know we had a few issues at first when you first tried connecting, but you got it figured out, and it was awesome. We had a great discussion. I loved it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Do you have any social media outlets or anything that if people want to kind of follow you and what's going on with pickleball in Japan, they can? Now's your time to give it a shout out.
Yeah. On Facebook, if you do a search for Skemon Q, that's TSUKEMON9. Skemon Q. Do a search on that on Facebook. My club page is up there, and I do post bilingually videos of our practices and open plays. Twitter, same thing, Skemon Q. Instagram, same thing, Skemon Q. Those are the three main outlets that I use. So they'll search, if they search that word, that name, they'll find all our stuff.
Very nice. We'll have to add that to
if they want to see me personally, Medina.
We'll have to add that to the description, because I'm sure people might have an issue remembering how to say that, because I know the number 9 is pronounced Q, so it could be a little confusing. Right. So yeah, we'll add that to the description down below, and you guys should definitely check that out. And yeah, let's try to get the pickleball love spread over there in Japan, because we want to make this thing global.
Yeah, and if any of you pros are watching, want to come over to Japan, come on over. You can stay at my house. We'd love to have you.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, thanks again for joining us. This was very fun. And thanks for being our first official fan joining us on Dinking Around, and for being our first official Twitch member for commenting on episode 70.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. Lindsay was a great guest who was able to answer the questions that I had. So yeah, it was great.
Very cool. All right, well, have a great night, or actually great morning. Have a great morning and great day. It's a great night for us, but for you, I know it's a morning over there. So okay. Yeah, and we're about to go to bed, but you enjoy the rest of your day.
So good night, guys. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye-bye.
How awesome was that?
So cool, man. He's such a cool guy.
Yeah.
He's super cool. Yeah.
And I would love to take a trip to Japan, and I've never been there. I've always wanted to check it out. That'd be cool to go there and play some pickleball with his group.
That's right. That sounds like, he's just a cool guy. I love what he's doing with pickleball in Japan. And
yeah.
We actually had a question here from Tim Rogan, said, what city is he in again? He is in Kagoshima, Japan. So I think it's South Japan, so south of Tokyo, is I believe what he was saying. So good question there.
Yeah, he's an official IFP World Ambassador and a district coordinator for the JPA, which is the Japan Pickleball Association. So that's very cool. That was awesome that he was able to join us. I love the fact that that it worked out, and I wasn't so sure, like with him being over in Japan, I didn't know if there would be like extra lag or anything like that. But that was pretty smooth.
Yeah, I think it worked out pretty well. I mean, how crazy is that? This whole, I think they call it the World Wide Web.
Oh, is that what it's called? Is that what the WWW stands for?
Yeah, so you go to HTTP colon. Anyway, yeah, no, I think it's cool that we're able to connect worldwide. And yeah, I don't feel like there was any more latency with him being on than there is with like any of our guests that we've had on.
Right. Yeah, that was awesome. Loved it. And I feel like this was like the whole purpose of us doing Dinking Around is for stuff like this.
Yep.
Like we always thought it'd be awesome for you and I to just kind of chat with each other about what's going on in our lives and in pickleball in general. And if somebody's tuning in and wants to join us, they can. And it happened tonight, and it was very cool. Love it.
I agree. Before we wrap it up, there was a lot of social media interaction tonight, which was super awesome.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring up a couple of them here. And this is from TS. I know her. I've played on the same court as her before. It says, I didn't know there were skinny singles tournaments. Yeah, apparently this is the first one I'm going to be playing, as I mentioned, but it sounds like, especially with COVID, there's probably a lot more of these that are potentially gonna come up, because I know a lot of people don't like to play singles, full court singles, and so I think skinny singles is a good way to have more social distancing with that. Would you agree, Webby?
Yeah, I would love to do a skinny singles tournament. I do not recall any skinny singles tournaments anywhere near where I'm at right now. I don't see why people don't do that. I'm about to do a dinking tournament, for crying out loud, so there should definitely be some skinny singles tournaments coming up. So if any tournament directors out there want to do a skinny singles tournament in Michigan, you should definitely make that happen. But yeah, I mean, I feel like with COVID, some people might be afraid to do doubles or group stuff. But like you said, a lot of people don't like playing full court singles. So skinny singles, that's a great compromise for everybody, I think.
I agree. We got another question here from Chuck Frame. Chuck says, can we go back to beverage talk for a while? What are your favorite beverages after a couple of hours of pickleball? Mine is a light beer followed by some IPAs, I believe is what the total comment, by a couple of IPAs. Chuck, I'm totally on board with the IPAs. Maybe even a light beer. I mean, if somebody handed me a light beer at the courts, I wouldn't slap it out of their hands. Not my ideal. But I got to tell you, man, I am absolutely hooked on these hard seltzers, especially if you can find one that is low carb, low sugar, low calories, that isn't overly flavored with, like, I don't know, weird flavors. This would probably be at the top of my list. What about you, Webby?
For me, it is definitely IPA. Like, there's been times where, like, in the middle of playing, I don't know why, but all of a sudden, like, I'll get a craving. I'll be like, man, an IPA sounds great right now. Whether it be Two Hearted from Bell's or New England IPA, like a Soup's Juice from Perrin, or M43 from New. I'm drawing a blank what they're called now.
I know what you're talking about.
New. Oh my gosh, what is it? New Orthodox Brewing?
No,
is that right?
No.
Oh man,
nope. You're making that
I
up.
love
that brewery doesn't exist. In fact, if anybody out there is looking for a name for their brewery, New Orthodox. That should be the name of it.
Old Nation Brewing. That's what it's called. Old Nation Brewing M43. That is my absolute favorite. But to be honest, Bell's came out with a New England IPA this year called Incessant, and that one is absolutely delicious. Like that gives M43 a run for its money in my book. But definitely my top three in no particular order are Soup's Juice. This is in regards to New England IPAs specifically, but Soup's Juice from Perrin, Incessant from Bell's, and M43 from Old Nation Brewing. Those three are so good. So good.
Do you ever have Guayabera in the shelves by you from Cigar City? We reviewed that.
Yes, that's an excellent one too. I loved that one. Yeah,
every time I buy
it.
Every time I buy it, I always bring it home and I drink it. I'm like, God, why don't I drink this more often? It's such a good beer. It's so good.
Yeah, when we reviewed it, it was amazing, and I bought some shortly after that. And same kind of thing. Like every time I see it, I think to myself, I'm going to get some of this, but then something else. I ended up like seeing something else that catches my eye. But I remember loving that beer. That was such a good beer.
That's good stuff. Well, Webby, guess what?
What?
I hear the police. They're knocking on doors.
Oh. Yeah, just like Chris called out. I mean, it happens every time.
Yep, all the time. I hear them knocking on doors, saying, "Why aren't you in bed? Here's your glass of warm milk. There's reruns of Matlock going on. We're happy to put it on the TV for you. I know you don't have to call your grandson to tell you how to work the TV. We can set up the TV for you. We can get everything ready for you to be able to go to bed." That's Naples. That's literally Naples. I bet you more phone calls go to grandsons or granddaughters about how do I work the TV from the city of Naples more than anywhere else in the entire world. If anybody can prove me wrong, I'll give you a prize. But like if we could study that, I bet you the vast majority of those calls come from Naples.
I don't doubt it. I do not doubt that one bit.
I'm surprised I don't get calls all the time from my neighbors about it.
Oh, man. Nice. Well, this was fun. This was great. We haven't done any kind of podcast in quite a while. This was fun to do Dinking Around tonight, even though we didn't do a regular podcast. This wasn't our post-podcast podcast, but it was still Dinking Around, where you and I just dinked around for a bit, and we had a surprise guest.
There's so much less prep work that goes into dinking around, by the way. So, like, literally 10% of the amount of prep work goes into that versus an actual podcast.
Yeah. But I love it. Like, I love both of them because, like, the regular podcast, I love doing the pros asking pros questions and talking to a pro. But dinking around, I love how like relaxed it is. We prepare nothing really. Like, maybe we have a couple things we want to bring up, but like, that's it. We log on, get online, talk to each other, talk to the people tuning in, sometimes have somebody join us. I love it. I love both shows.
That's right. And if you love it and you guys haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, you should do that. You should follow us on Facebook. You should follow us on Instagram at Eddie and Webby. You should follow us on Twitter at Eddie and Webby as well. We haven't asked you guys to do that in a while, but it helps out. Every little bit helps. We have not taken any sponsors for any of our shows yet, because we want to be able to ultimately just kind of give you unbiased opinions on any of the products or any of the things that we experience through the pickleball world. So really, we rely on ad revenue to help us, as well as revenue from any shirts that you can buy from us, eddiewebby.com/store. And it doesn't cover a lot. We still pay way more than we make with this. But it helps. It helps us with being able to get to events, get more video equipment, things like that. So any little bit helps, and we appreciate you guys very much for that.
That's right. So if you don't want us to sell out, then just subscribe to us on YouTube. Tell your friends to subscribe to us on YouTube, and check out our merch store. And then we won't have to sell out.
That's right. Anything else you want to talk about tonight here, Webby, before we wrap it up?
No, I think that's it. I thought that was a very fun show, and just stay tuned because we got some great guests lined up for our upcoming regular Eddie and Webby show that you're not going to want to miss. And
that's right.
That's all I got for tonight. Yeah,
next Thursday night, 7:30 p.m.
Oh, we got a good one coming.
Are you ready, or should we hold on to it a little bit longer?
Let's hold on. Stay tuned, and you'll find out who's going to be on next week.
That's right. Guys, this has been Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby. We want to thank you very much for watching, commenting, interacting, and just being your beautiful selves. And on that note, Eddie?
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
See ya.